morning everyone and welcome back. I haven't been out in 3 months and that's a bit too long even for my liking. So here we are today on our way to a place where I've always wanted to make a video but I didn't get to. So it's about half an hour from here, and the place that we're going to now, it's a complex of lakes. It's actually a very nice place and full of wildlife. The weather is not looking great. It's very overcast, so the light is not brilliant, but that's, to be honest, pretty much what I have been looking for, because I want to get some kingfisher shots, hopefully, if we're lucky enough, in the rain. That is something that I've never managed to do, and hopefully we will manage to get that shot today. Now, this place I'm going to has a multitude of wildlife, especially waterfowl. But one thing that people seen there, it's the bittern. Now, it's not early enough for me to go in and wait for the bittern. However, I might get lucky. Downside is, where the bittern was seen and photographed, it's not in the same place as where the kingfisher is. Now, where the kingfisher is, there's a hide there, and funny enough, it's called the bittern hide. So, given the weather, I am inclined to stick with the hide more than just going and roaming about. Good thing about the hide, it's also the fact that it has some bird feeders, so you get woodland birds as well. You get bullfinches, coal tits, long-tailed tits, and also the ringneck parakeet, and a couple of birds of prey. I think I've seen sparrowhawk there and red kites. So let's go and see what the day has planned for us and what we can get, and hopefully we will see quite a little bit of wildlife. And oh yeah, remember, I've seen a fox there once. I managed to get a photo of a kingfisher and the fox in the same frame. Now, fox being in the background, it was pretty much out of focus, but if you look closely and if I point it out, you will notice that there's a fox there. I can't remember if I kept the photo, but if I kept, I'm gonna put it in now and highlight where the fox is. So yeah, let's see what we can get, and I'll see you there. Now, I've only been driving for about 10 minutes or so, but I've already seen about 6 red kites, and that's because of the area that I'm driving. It's a place where the reintroduction of the red kites had a great success. up to the point where people are actually calling them pests around here. So I don't know if they're actually pests or not, but I'm glad they're coming back. Okay, so we got here. We're in the car park now, and we are heading towards the bitten hide. So let's go and have a look. Now I know that on the field that's behind me now, and I can see it. There is an owl box, but I've never seen an owl here, and I've been here quite a few times. It's full of long-tailed tits and blue tits around. But yeah, it might worth to come in here and wait. But I know there are loads of people coming here, and none of them seen the bar now. Loads of small boats around. And here we go towards the bitten hide. Okay, so we got ourselves settled in. The hide is absolutely empty, and I can see loads of birds around, but there's no kingfisher. Usually it's around here. So we're gonna settle down, and we were gonna wait for a couple of hours or so and get the trusted Nikon out, get the settings ready, and see what we can get. I've just witnessed something that I've never heard about and never seen it before. The great white egret started to get pestered or attacked by a few seagulls. I don't know why, because the egret is not hunting, so it will try to mob it. They just decided to go and attack this great white egret. I've managed to get that on the Nikon and film it, so here it is. Now, let's talk about 4 mistakes that I think pretty much every new wildlife photographer do. And these are mistakes that I did, and there are mistakes that I've corrected either through learning more about photography or reading about them or even seeing YouTube videos about it. And these 4 mistakes are important to fix in order for you to maximize the output of your photographs, change the perspective, and actually change a photograph from a mediocre or a normal photograph to an amazing one, a great shot. So let's dive right into it, and I'm still looking for that great egret because it's on the hunt now, and it's actually in a really nice spot with the reeds. Mistake number 1 is exactly what I did here, not waiting for the right moment. Now, as I am looking at this great white egret, let me start and film it so you can see what I'm talking about. The position the egret is in is not the most flattering. I mean, what I'm filming now, it's an okay position, but the way it just looks at me straight at the camera right now, it's not a very flattering position. Ooh. But that's when, if you wait and wait, you will get that perfect shot. And I've just filmed it catching a small fish. So patience is one of the biggest advices I can give to you. That's a nice pose, there you go, yes. Patience is one of the best advices I can give to you. Now, I know photographers that whenever they go out, they can't wait for 10-20 minutes in a spot waiting for wildlife or birds to come nearby, or getting that perfect pose. And that is something that I used to do when I started photography, but now I like to go into a place, settle down, and it never ever failed me. Mistake number 2. So we all want those crisp photos, noise free, crystal clear, and I do want them as well. But mistake number 2 is about settings. So I used to be that kind of photographer that I wanted absolutely no noise in my photos. So if I was able to use ISO 100, I was going down to 100. But for the last couple of years, I've never went lower than, I think, ISO 400. Mainly I'm about 800, no matter what camera I use, because there are so many softwares out there that can reduce the noise. You have DxO Pure Raw, which is absolutely amazing. You have Topaz Denoise. You have Lightroom, you have Photoshop, which are not ideal for noise reductions, but they do a great job if you tweak the noise reduction correctly. So I've changed my opinion from having a crisp, crystal clear photo into having a photo. So when you use low ISOs, you have to lower your shutter speed down. So especially when you photograph birds or wildlife in general, they're unpredictable. They move around, they can change the position, exactly as this egret did when I was filming it, from a staring position, pouncing position into an action shot. So there's not enough time for you to quickly change your settings to have the ideal settings for that particular shot. Now, I'm not saying that if you use a higher ISO every time, you will still have that capability of freezing the action in a shot, but at least it gives you a higher chance. For example, today is a very overcast day. The light is absolutely ridiculous in terms of the camera settings. It's a lovely light because it's very diffuse. So I came to the conclusion that I'd rather have a shot than having none. So ISO, it's on the camera for a reason, use it. Don't be afraid to go 1600, 3200. Even if you think that photo is unusable, maybe somewhere in time, over years, you will change your mind and you'll go back to that photo and probably put it through Topaz Denoise or DxO Pure Raw, and you realize that that is actually not a bad photo. So utilize the ISO. That's one mistake I did and I regret it. Mistake number 3 is one that I've been at fault at for a long time, and I think I've mentioned it in one of my other videos, and that is not photographing everything. So every time we go out to take photos, we all want that perfect shot, that rare bird, that hard to get wildlife that, you know, everyone aspires to get. But as I said before in one of my videos, it's about going out, enjoying photography. So I know quite a lot of photographers that are waiting for, I don't know, a particular bird, let's say for a kingfisher, and then a robin comes nearby and perches, and it poses nicely, and it's literally waiting for you to take a photo of the robin, but everyone ignores it. Now, my question to you, if you're a photographer, is, do you have the perfect shot of a robin? Do you have the best shot of a robin? I know I don't, because what is the perfect shot? What makes the perfect shot? So every time I get the opportunity to actually photograph a robin, I would do it with no issues. And I will do it not only because I want better shots, but I love every bird, and I will photograph every bird. Now, this is controversial because you can say, yeah, but I don't want to photograph magpies because they're pests or they're annoying, or I don't want to photograph grey squirrels because they come in and ruin my feeders. But in the video that I've been with Dan going for foxes, there I managed to get my best photograph of a grey squirrel, and that was because I had the optimal conditions, and it doesn't happen often. So I was literally down to the ground, the light was nice and diffused, the sun was just coming out of the skies, and the squirrel posed and looked into the camera, and I clicked it, and I'm really happy. And I still think that's not only one of my best shots with squirrels, but I think that's one of my best shots in general. So if you go out, don't always look for that rare opportunity to photograph a bird. Take a photo of everything that you see, and then you maybe realize that you do get photos of the kingfisher, but that photo of the robin that was posing for you in a very particular way, that will be your best shot of the day. And the last mistake that I'm going to mention today is gear. So everyone wants to have the Canon EOS R1 or Nikon Z9 with a 600mm f4 prime lens, but that doesn't make a photography. That only helps you get a better photo. Yes, they might have a better autofocus system, they have a nice bokeh, they have a faster focus, they have a better low light performance, but at the end of the day, I'm not a professional photographer, you're not a professional wildlife photographer. I like to go out with my camera to relax. So you work for a whole week, maybe it's a very stressful environment that you work in, maybe there is something that you don't particularly like to do, and then you go out in your day off, you take your camera and you go and relax, you go and enjoy the nature, enjoy the sound of the wind, the song of the birds, or just simply just enjoy a walk. So don't blame your photos on the gear, don't blame your capabilities, or don't let the gear stop you from going out. And I did that, and I've changed loads of cameras. I've started with a Canon 750D and a 70-300 cheap lens, and then I wanted a bigger lens, so I went with a Tamron 150-600 G2, and then I was still not happy, because if you go online and you see the photos of wildlife of some people, you're just absolutely amazed. And then I thought, no, you know, that's the camera. So I went and got myself the Canon 5D Mark IV, because I wanted a full frame. You know, if you get a full frame, the world opens and every bird will come in front of you, pose for you, which is not true. It's all about patience. It's all about being at the right place at the right time, and that doesn't happen very often. So stop blaming your gear about it. Stop blaming anything. What you need to do is wake up, have your coffee, gear your camera, get into the car, drive anywhere and go for a walk. 9 times out of 10 you might not get a photo, but you'll never know that. If you decide not to go out on a day, maybe that's the day where you would get 2 barn owls fighting with a kestrel while a short-eared owl was watching. I don't know. You know, you can never know what you miss if you're not going out. So I do that myself. I have a day off and then I wake up and be like, yeah, I want to go out, but where do I go? What bird am I going to photograph? Am I actually going to get something? Oh, look at the weather. It's really cold right now. It's going to rain. I find tons of excuses, and that's not something that will help you enjoy wildlife. So don't do that mistake. It's not okay. You need to go out, and I need to go out more. and I need to make a few more videos about this. Just had two gentlemen that are coming here on a daily basis, walking into the hide, looking for the bittern, which apparently has been seen a couple of days ago here. So there's another hide on the other side of the lake, because there's a massive reed bed in the middle of the lake. So there's another hide on the other side of the reed bed, so I'm gonna go there and see if I can spot anything. Now that would be something very interesting, to get to see a bittern. I haven't seen one, so that'll actually be lovely. They also said that the kingfisher hasn't been seen from this hide for about 2 weeks now, so that's odd. I know I haven't been here for ages now, but that's odd for the kingfisher not to show. Now they said it's been seen on the other lakes, but this is the main lake. This is where it used to come every day. This was one of my preferred places to come and see a kingfisher. But now I just realized, and actually it reminded me why I haven't come to this place so often. The hides are great, but the hides are quite high above the water, and as we were talking about the mistakes in photography, one of them is not getting to the eye level with whatever you photograph. So there you go, that's a fifth mistake. It's one of the mistakes that every new photographer is doing, and it's a mistake that's easy fixable, and it changes everything. Oh god, I don't think I can. Oh, maybe it's okay to go through here. It's very muddy. Whoop. So yeah, that's the reason why I didn't come here so often. I mean, it's a great hide for bird watching. It's not as good for photography because you're photographing from a higher angle, which is not ideal. And the downside is there's no way you can go outside the hide and get to the water level. And here's the second hide. We made it through the mud. Just made it to the second hide, and there was a photographer here, and no sign of the bittern. And as soon as I just sat down, the heron just attacked the great white egret that flew here. It was too quick. I didn't manage to get a shot of that. And the water rail has been spotted here as well by the other photographer. So I don't know, it's a bit cold, so I'm gonna give it for about another hour and then I will call it a day. I'm pretty happy with the great wide egret shots I've got, so that should do it for the day, especially on the fact that I haven't been out for so long. I wasn't expecting to get much anyway. We had no luck with the bitten, so I'm gonna just head out to the car and go home. It's been a good day. At least I've been out, and that's what actually makes me really happy. I'm also excited to photograph the great white egret, as I've never photographed one before, and it actually posed quite nicely for me, so I'm pretty happy with that. The mud, so much mud. And also the started to rain, so there is a bit of a walk to the car, and it's going to take me a while, especially in this muddy conditions. But also my camera, it's running out of battery, so the camera that I'm filming on now, it's a new little camera. You know, I was using the Canon EOS R to film my vlogs, and while I loved it, there was a huge downside to it, and that is the fact that it's a big camera. So when I went out for a video, having to carry that camera with this was a bit of a challenge, and it was a bit time consuming in planning the shots and getting everything ready, thinking of where should I put the camera, what happens if I'm carrying the camera and the birds fly. I want to have both my hands empty or available to take the photos that I want. So I decided to go with the Dji Pocket 2, which is a little camera with a built-in gimbal that also films and a log file, which that's what I have been using with my EOS R. So this is actually my first time going out with it, and from what I can see in the small screen that it has, it's brilliant, but the downside is battery doesn't last too long. So I'm gonna have to find a solution, probably get an external battery like a phone charger and charge it through the USB-C while I'm not using it. That could work. So think I'm gonna end the video today here. I'm gonna go to the car and I'll go and see what photos I've got today. So until next time, take care. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, that would really help me out. Like this video, let me know in the comments below what is the one mistake that you wish you knew when you started photography and how did you corrected it. And also don't forget to watch the other videos I've done and let me know what you think about this little camera. I'll see you next week.